Something really bad happens to your progress when you only build things you think will get played. And no, I'm not talking about motivation or algorithms or something. I'm talking about how you will stay a consumer forever. And let me tell you, no one's first game is going to be awesome, and most likely your first game isn't going to get any plays anyway. But there are a ton of reasons why you should make it anyway. First of all, your first game is going to be the game that you learn the most from, and every game after that is just going to be exponentially better. You can think of your first game is going to be bad and it's going to be small, and it's also going to take you a lot of time to make. Whilst your second game probably going to be twice as good, your third game going to be twice as good as your second game, and the game quality is just going to go like this, like exponentially better, and the time you spend to actually make the game just goes like this. Because you know what to do, you know like the whole process, so you can make them quicker, and you can also make the quality better because you're more efficient with your time and you know how to do things the right way. So let me tell you this very interesting thing. Your first 20% of knowledge is going to give you 80% of the benefits. And when you're making your first game, you're probably going to be at like 5-10%, just to give a like vanity number, 5-10% of the knowledge. So when you make like your second, third, fourth game, that's when you actually get to the 20% knowledge mark, and you actually get 80% of the benefit already. Everything after that is just going to be slower. So after you made just a few games, you're going to know roughly 80%, and you're actually a very skilled game developer at that point. Let me tell you, this is going to be the biggest benefit that you actually get from releasing a game. You're just going to go from this hobbyist that just makes these systems, follows tutorials, and uses AI. You're going to go from that to becoming a real game developer. Because I'm telling you, you aren't a game developer before you've released your first game. And when you release your first game, you go from being a consumer, this hobbyist that I talked about, to actually becoming a creator. You can actually make games. And believe it or not, like probably 99%, there's no specific number for this, but I think like the general consensus online, and what I think as well, is that 99% of the people that begin game development, they never release a single game. So if you actually achieve this, which is not super hard, it's not super hard to make your first game, but if you actually achieve this, then you're actually in the top 1% of game developers. Like there are tons of videos on YouTube how to start game development. They have millions of views, like literally millions of views. But that doesn't mean that 5 million game developers were produced by one video. Probably 1% of those, even less, are actually going to make a game. Because like half of them, they just download the game engine, they do like the tutorial, they quit. Half of them are going to like just make prototypes forever. And there are just going to be so many people that fall into tutorial hell, AI dependency, and the restart spiral, and so many of these traps that if you actually just avoid these and you release a game, you're going to be in the top 1%. And also, if you want to make a business out of game development, like you want to have a game studio, for example, actually monetize your games, you want to publish them to the app stores, you want to have a consulting company, if you want to do these things, then you need to have one finished game. That's going to be step one of business in game development. That's to finish one game, to build your portfolio, your credibility, and give you the opportunities. So in contrast to the business things, you just have something to show. That's probably the funnest, like practical thing about being a game developer and releasing a game, is that even if nobody online is going to play it, or like a few people only, you can still show it to your friends and your family, and that's actually what's going to matter the most. Just imagine making a game, like working on it for like 2 months. You and your friends probably have like the same game interest, like the game genre interest, and you can make the games that you enjoy making and you can show it to them. You can see how they play, you can get feedback from them. And your family, like you can show it to your girlfriend, your wife, your mom, whatever, your children, whatever, you can show it to them, and it's going to be like just very cool that you actually made this experience completely by yourself. And if you just make this game, even if nobody's going to play it, you actually are going to have it on the internet. So you can publish it on all these different websites like Crazy Games, itch.io, App Store, Google Play. You can, if you want to be like a little bit more serious, you can upload it to all of these, and when people search for the name of your game, it's going to come up with like tons of different store pages. And even if you might not get any plays or downloads, it's still going to be like widely available, and it's going to be like very accessible to everyone. And this ties back to the thing I talked about with the portfolio, the opportunities. You actually have something to show. Like for example, you grow your portfolio. So your second game is going to be right next to your first game, and your third game is going to be right next to these others. So when people go into your itch profile, they're going to see all the games that you made, the app stores, all the games that you made there, and it's going to grow your portfolio. It's going to be the thing that you're going to show your clients or your employers, whatever, if you actually want to take game development seriously. And the last thing I will say is that game development is so much fun. It's the most fun and creative hobby in the entire world. And I say hobby because if you haven't released your first game, I assume that you don't take game development that seriously yet, because you probably haven't seen the benefits that you can get, and we talked about this before. But really, game development is what we call a craft. It's a whole craft You can also call it a practice. Like game development is so vague, there are so many different things that we can define it as a craft, not just a hobby. And it's not just a craft, it's the most creative craft in the entire world. You can imagine a painting on the world, like for example, I have a painting here. I can just look at it, I can't like feel it, I can touch it, I can listen to it. It's just a painting. When you are making games, you make this interactive experience, you make this entire world, you're making these characters. It's so creative. You can also focus on the things that you want to make. Let's say you're more like me, you're more like a logical person. You can focus on the systems and logic instead of focusing on like characters, giving the characters a name, like making them look pretty in like art or stuff. You can literally focus on the things that you enjoy. And on the opposite side, if you actually enjoy art and music, which is like very common in game development, I'm not saying you need to focus on logic and be like a nerd like me. If you really enjoy art, music, product management, these other aspects, you can focus on that as well, and you can be creative in this while you're still making an interactive experience. You're making like a whole new world. And when you just realize how fun and creative game development really is, I promise you're going to think creating games is going to be so much funner than playing it. Even playing like polished AAA games, making them are going to be so much more fun, I promise. When I actually got the skill that I could be able to finish the things that I actually set my mind to, I probably spend 1% of my time playing games and 99% of my time making them. And I also had really fun doing so. And I still do. I really enjoy making games, and I don't play them nearly as much because I get this like satisfaction from actually making them, so I don't have this urge to play games. So if you're serious about game development and you actually want to release your first game, which, as I said, it's not like super hard, but there are a lot of traps that you can fall in throughout the way, and there's a lot of mistakes that you can make. So it's going to be much harder, it's going to take so much more time than you really need to spend. But if you just want to learn from someone that has made all of these mistakes when releasing your first games, and you just want a step-by-step 60-day blueprint to release your first game with just a few focus hours a week, then you can join Smart Indie with the first link below. Thank you for watching, hopefully you liked this video. Check out Smart Indie.